I was driving to work the other day listening to Dropped Frames, a podcast with It Me, JP, Cohh Carnage and Ezekiel the Third. Zeke said something during a conversation about Mortal Kombat finishes that got me thinking.
Yeah.
Every time I see a new fatality, though, man, it takes me back to the day. Like, do you guys remember any of your personal game-changing or paradigm-shifting moments in your life where something in your brain like got switched on or opened your eyes to something like that you didn't know could exist or did exist?
Yeah.
First time I watched Mortal Kombat, like the first time I watched Sub-Zero grab Scorpion by the throat and rip his fucking head off with the spine attack and then show it to the screen. The first time I saw that, like, something switched on in my brain and went, video games can do anything. Like, I didn't think they could. I was like, nah.
Video games can do anything. A wonderful and true statement about an interactive art form. What moment for me was game-changing? Paradigm shifting? I sat in my car looking at the taillights of the lorry in front of me, and it came to me almost immediately. Let me take you on a journey of how and why Fallout 3 changed my outlook. Welcome to Video Games Can Do Anything. To begin our story, we need to start with me. The year was 2012, I was 13 or 14. I owned a PlayStation 3 and my brother had recently moved out, so it was set up in the spare room with a sofa bed or futon that I hardly used. I'd sit as close as humanly possible to the huge CRT television that once sat in the living room, now repurposed to keep me out of my mum's hair. I had Battlefield, Black Ops 2, Dynasty Warriors, which at the time I would pronounce Dynasty Warriors, but that's another story. I never had a true RPG experience before, and Fallout 3 was about to be my first, years after it had come out in 2008. I first had heard of Fallout 3 from a friend in 2009. Myself and another arrived at his house one day, and we had a mission. He said to us, "I was playing all last night, you're like this guy in this thing called a vault, but I can't work out what I need to do next." So the three of us sat there for an hour or two trying to figure out the next step, but eventually we got bored. To this day, I still don't know if his game was bugged or if we were just really dumb, but the game, the walls of the vault, the overseer, the tunnel snakes, I was intrigued by the whole thing, and I was excited to play it one day to see where the story of this whole thing went, where it led. That said, I was young, I had no money. The thought of the game, the walls of the vault, the tunnel snakes, and the overseer faded from my memory. Until one day in 2012. I had a job sweeping a car park of a nearby pub, and some money to my name. I was walking around a local game, which is a store in England very similar to GameStop, and spotted a copy of Fallout 3, pre-owned and priced at £3. I decided to forego the Big Mac I was planning on getting, and take the mature rated game to the counter to try my luck. You see, the pre-owned sticker was over the age rating, and the shop clerk might not check, I thought, and check they did not. I got the bus home with that new game feeling. As soon as I got home, I slid the disc in. I waited for my PlayStation to gather the 4 years worth of patches on my slow countryside internet. After what felt like an eternity, I was there. I don't want to set the world on fire by the ink spots. And then the opening monologue. It ended with, war. War never changes. In the early days, thousands were spared the horrors of the Holocaust by taking refuge in enormous underground shelters known as vaults. But when they emerged, they had only the hell of the waste to greet them. All except those in Vault 101. For on that fateful day, when fire rained from the sky, the giant steel door of Vault 101 slid closed, and never reopened. It was here you were born, and it was here you will die. Because in Vault 101, no one ever enters, and no one ever leaves. This cemented in my mind what the game was about, and I was excited. The world had ended, me and a few other survivors were locked in a tin can underground. This game would take me on a story through the experiences of growing up in a vault, meeting various factions, making allies and enemies. Maybe even I could become the overseer of Vault 101, where no one ever enters, and no one ever leaves. Now, this is where I implore you, if you have no knowledge of Fallout, bar what this video has covered so far, go play the game. Experience Vault 101, see where the story takes you. Experience something similar to what I did. This is where my paradigm shifting moment begins. One morning my character wakes up in the vault, greeted by sirens, and their love interest is hovering over them. I receive the news: your dad is gone, and my father's men are looking for you. He's left the vault. My brain was whirring. Vault 101. No one ever enters and no one ever leaves. This was fact to me for years, and fact to my character for even longer. But now my character's father has left, and maybe they can too. An interesting twist in the story, but one that could have been foreseen by a smarter 14-year-old than I was. It's what happened next that really got to me. My character left the entrance of Vault 101, their eyes blinded by the wasteland sun, having just killed a man for the first time. I looked over the vast expanse of the waste in front of me, and realized I had no direction. My goal was to find Dad. It began to sink in. I could go anywhere. I could talk to anyone. I could fight the fabled monsters of the wastes. I could find my father. This game wasn't Vault 101, the tin can in the earth I was so excited to experience. Vault 101 was the tutorial. The capital wasteland was my playground. This was my literal game-changing moment. My paradigm shift. Video games can do anything. You just need to let them. I spent days in Fallout 3. I found a genre of games I didn't know I loved. I felt feelings that I never thought a video game could make me feel. Seeing a companion that I found on what felt like happenstance, that chose to fight with me because of the choices I made, and that I loved for their unique personality, die in combat in a last stand on the roof of the Statesman Hotel with some merc group called Riley's Rangers. I think I genuinely shed a tear. It wasn't the story in Fallout 3 that changed my perspective on video games. It was everything you could do. It was the open world, the vastness, the different choices you could make, the different outcomes. It all collected together to make a gaming experience I had never had before, to make me realize that video games could do near enough anything, given enough time. Mine and Zeke's experiences were very different, but they led to the same thought: video games can do anything. What moment in what game led you to believe that video games can do anything? What is the most impactful thing that has ever happened in a game for you? If you enjoyed this video, like, and if you want to see more, subscribe. If you're interested in live content, you can follow my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/BlackfireRebel. You can also follow Zeke, Cohh, or ImmyJP in the description below. Their Twitch channels will be linked. Also will be the episode of Drop Frames that I referenced and any other videos that I used during this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you next time.